All right, we're gonna get going. We got a beautiful box of Innistrad Midnight Hunt set boosters to crack. So we're gonna get this bad boy opened up and see what's going on, see what we can pull. Of course, there's a ton of great cards in this set. We're gonna look to pull as many zombie cards as possible because that's the tribe that really has fueled my love of Magic and everything that I like to do. So with the game, zombie commander decks, zombie modern decks, got it all. Of course, this is not a zombie themed set. It is a werewolf themed set, which is pretty cool. So we're just gonna get our packs out here as this bad boy starts to go live. We'll set them up. So as with the set boosters, we got a good number of packs to open, which is going to be awesome. So we'll have, let's just make sure we got equal piles. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. All right, so we'll have our 30 packs to open. And we'll start getting into it. What's up, Bearded Nerd and Mike Yule? It's actually a set booster, which is a new booster box styling. So the set booster, they do a little bit different style to it, Mike. It's got a 14 card pack, or 12 cards, excuse me, 12 card pack. But you get a lot more options to open a lot of the specialty cards, the promo arts, things like that. So it's a little bit different style. Pretty cool though. Came with a promo, buy a box, which I'll show you guys at the end of the video. But we're gonna get cracking packs here and see what we can pull out of this wonderfulness. See what's going on. Always good to have some people joining in. All right, we're gonna start with the first art card. So really cool. You get the arts of different cards in the set. That's Untamed Pup. We will have the gorgeous full art Eternal Night lands. These are black and white. There's 2 different versions of each land type, and they've got this beautiful etched, I don't know if the camera, there we go. All the color is in this beautiful etched foiling. It's not foiled, it's just a beautiful etched kind of style, which kind of looks like the foiling. Very, very cool. And right off the bat, we are starting with a zombie pack. We've got Moorcrop Behemoth, 5 mana, 7/6. Additional cost to cast, sack a creature or pay 1 and a black. He's got Menace and Things of Beast. Might actually be good in Pauper, which is awesome. We got Blood Pact, 2 and a black for an instant. Target player draws 2 cards and loses 2 life. Seen in a bunch of sets. Pax Betrayal, of course, you got to have all the werewolf themed stuff up in here with it. So I had 3 mana sorcery, gain control of target creature until end of turn. Untap it, gains haste until end of turn. Just a threat and effect, very cool. If you control a wolf or a werewolf, though, you get a scry too, so it makes it a little bit better on that end. We will have Lambholt Harrier. Here, let's fix this up a little bit better. So we got a 2 mana, 2/2 wolf, and for 4 mana, 3 and a red, target creature can't block until end of turn. So good and limited, nothing too crazy. Oop, another Zombie Matters card, a Corpse Cobble. These are awesome. So in every set, they're going to have, let's see. So in every set, they're going to have signpost cards that come in. So if these were draft boosters in the normal draft set, you would see that this would be what's called a signpost uncommon. So it's to tell you what Dimir, so blue-black, is playing, which is zombies. Brian, great question. What's your favorite color scheme at the moment? So for standard, I'm really looking at the blue-black zombies list. Going to try to see what I can make work. Been kind of toying around with some ideas on Arena. I'm going to try to see what I can figure out for that. I've posted a couple list ideas. Still a work in progress. Got to find the best mix of cards because, unfortunately, the tribe, like in past standards, really the Amonkhet era with Shadows of Innistrad and Amonkhet Legal had a very set game plan of just being mono black. Had a good 1 through 5 curve, had good utility lands. I don't know if it's there yet, but for me personally, it's always a blue-black scheme. I am 100% a Dimir player at heart. Favorite colors, mono black, then blue, then white. So I go from black to Dimir to Esper. And yeah, it's just really trying to do that scheme-wise. It's anything tribal. So for standard, pioneer, historic, I'm just going to play zombies, whether it's in any version of those decks, whether it's black, blue, black, black, white, or Esper. Modern, I pretty much just play zombies as well, but I do have some other decks that I'm working on, kind of looking at an Esper Reanimator list with some of the new cards from this set. Hopefully open some of those up so it's less that I have to purchase as singles. And then Commander, it's kind of a hodgepodge. I mean, I have an Esper Zombies list. I'm working on getting the blue-black list from this. I have a red-black Vampires. I have green-black Elves, green-black Squirrels. And then I have an Esper Artifacts list. So overall, it's just playing my color schemes and then playing tribal decks, which is always fun. I think it's a great way to go. So what this card does, for everybody that's been looking at it on the screen for a while, it's an instant, additional spell or additional cost to cast. You sack any number of creatures. You create an XX blue and black zombie creature token with Menace, where X is the total power of the sacked creatures. And it has flashback. So this is the big part of this card that I think why it could be playable in standard. Definitely going to try to sneak some of these in on my commander deck as well, or one of them into my commander deck as well, is the fact that you get to do this effect twice from one card. So you play the blue-black on the initial, and then when it's in your graveyard, as long as it's there, you can flash it back for 3 blue and black as you cast it. You do all the additional costs, and then you exile it, so it'll go out of your graveyard after that. But basically two spells for one card is great. Split up over 7 mana, split up over 2 turns. So really, I look at this card with those Decayed Zombies that are going to be coming around from a lot of cards. Hopefully we see a lot of them that make the Decayed Zombies. Decayd's a new mechanic. I'm not sure how I feel about it. Obviously, a straight 2/2 zombie is just better. But getting a 2/2 zombie that can't block, and after it attacks, you have to sack it, is decent with this card specifically. So you go, say you swing out with 3 Decayed Zombies. Opponent doesn't block any of them. They take 6. Sacrifice trigger goes on the stack to sack them after combat. And then you play this card at instant speed. You sack all 3 of them. You make a 6/6 blue-black zombie creature token with Menace, which will be pretty awesome. So, card I'm excited for. This is a card with some of the most radical art in the set. The Flesh Taker. This is the Signpost creature for the Orzhov decks, which is a sacrifice deck in the format. So black and a white for a 2/2 human assassin. Whenever you sack another creature, you gain a life and scry 1, and you can pay 1 to sacrifice a creature. And this Flesh Taker will get +2/+2 until end of turn. And of course, the flavor text on this is just awesome. A Soulless Husk of Endless Hunger. And the artwork, again, is just that very much out of a gothic horror, creeper, horror movie feel, which is really, really cool. So that's a cool card. Ooh, okay, we've got one of the new... so Scry mechanic is you get a look at the top card of your library, and you can either leave it there or you can put it onto the bottom of your library. There's another mechanic that's similar called Surveil. Same thing, it'll tell you how many cards you get to do this for, but Surveil, instead of getting to put it on the bottom of your library, if you don't want it, you put it into your graveyard. We're going to see a card hopefully called Consider that's in this set. It has Surveil without the keyword because Surveil is keyworded specifically. It's not an evergreen keyword, so it's not in every set. And it was specific to the Guilds of Ravnica set that came out back in 2018. So this is the new artwork. So I'm going to put these down so we can see this up close a little bit more. So this is the day-night artwork for all of the werewolves. So they all have this awesome border you'll see up here in the corner. You've got the sun. So day-bound. So vigilance, obviously, creature doesn't tap when you attack. On the front side, it's a 5-mana 4/5 that it attacks, it stays up and can play defense, and that this new mechanic is day-bound. So this is what they added for all the werewolves and a couple other cards. Basically, when this card enters, if it's not day or night, you put a day token onto it, and then it reads whenever a player doesn't cast 2 spells. So if a player casts no spells on their turn, it flips to night the next turn. So like say I play this, I pass. Say it was Brian that's playing me. He doesn't play any spells on his turn, passes back, and then flips to night, and this werewolf will transform from a human werewolf into a werewolf. So this becomes the Dire Strain Brawler, which is a 6/6 vigilance with Nightbound. To flip back from night to day, anytime a player plays 2 spells on their turn and then passes, 2 or more spells on their turn and then passes, it will become flip back to day. So you go back and forth on these werewolves with the nighttime cycle, which is really cool. But again, this artwork is just beautiful. So really, really awesome. We got another common. We got Morning Patrol, 3-mana, 2/3, Human Soldier with Vigilance. It's got another new keyword mechanic for this set, which is Disturb. So when this card is in your graveyard, you can cast it for 3 and a white, and it's transformed. And when it's transformed, we will have it as Morning Apparition. which is a Spirit Soldier. It's a 2/1 with flying and vigilance. So, of course, flies over can only be blocked by other creatures with the flying or with reach. And all of these Disturbed cards are going to have this ability. If Morning Apparition would be put into a graveyard from anywhere, exile it instead. So basically, after you get to cast this thing the second time for Disturbed, it comes onto the battlefield. Hopefully, you get it to stick around, do some work. If not, it's going to bounce out. It dies. A card goes into exile. Is no longer in your graveyard to play it again. So you can't repeat this over and over and over again, which is really good. Great limited mechanic. My buddy and I played a pre-release last night at home. The Disturbed mechanic did a lot of work. He was rocking a green-white Humans Coven deck with a number of white Disturbed creatures, and the constant recursion was great. And I actually went junned in my limited pool last night for red, black, green, predominantly just playing a ton of werewolves and then splashing black for some good removal and stuff, which is awesome. All right, we got the big reprint here, Delver of Secrets. This is from the original Innistrad set, 1 blue mana for a 1/1. This is another type of transform card. So the transform mechanics, double face cards like this have been a big part of Innistrad every time we've been there. So on the front half, he's a 1 mana, 1/1. And it says at the beginning of your upkeep, look at the top card of your library. You may reveal that card. If an instant or sorcery card is revealed this way, you transform it. On the back half, he then becomes Insectile Aberration. He's a 3/2 flying insect. So he's a 1 mana 3/2 flyer, ultimately, if you build your deck correctly, which is really, really cool. Hasn't really broken in. There was a deck with him back in Standard before my time when the original Innistrad was around. This actually makes him legal in Pioneer, which I think is the format that this reprint's going to make the biggest impact. He is legal in Modern, doesn't really see a ton of play. There's just other cards that outclass him specifically in Modern, and especially without the concentration of cheap, good spells. But he is a Legacy staple, so and a Pauper staple. So this guy, right now, of course, he's at Uncommon for this set, but he was originally printed at Common, so he's a Pauper legal card. Great, great card. That's a great pickup. I'm very excited for that. And the new artwork is sweet. And bada bing, bada boom, we got our first mythic. First pack, first mythic. 4 mana, 4/2 Phoenix called Sunstreak Phoenix. It's got flying. If it's neither day nor night when it enters the battlefield, it becomes day. And then whenever day becomes night or night becomes day, so whenever that token flips, you may pay 1 in a red. And if you do, return it from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped, which is pretty cool. So first mythic, we'll take it. Always a good feeling to crack some mythics. Ooh, and we got a foil. I believe there's a foil in every pack with this. So we have Eaten Alive. It is a foil black sorcery at common. It's an additional cost to cast a spell. You sack a creature or you have to pay 3 in a black. So it becomes a 5 mana spell if you don't have a creature to sack. And exile target creature or planeswalker. So we've seen this effect before. It's not seen a ton of play. I think this is the big line, though. Exile instead of destroy. That's a huge, huge factor, especially in this format with recursion, things like that. This could actually see some fringe play. I think this does help it, which is really awesome. And then we got our just a little token card so you can play a Magic mini game. Not really worried about that, but so cool. All right, pack 2. All right, we're going to flip our art card. So we have, if I remember correctly, this is Trapped in the Graveyard or Locked in the Cemetery. Okay. But really cool, the art cards they did for this, that's a new feature of Booster Fun. It's really cool. Oh, yeah, there we go. We got an island. So, of course, going back to back on my colors. And, again, this is one of the 2 Eternal Night lands. Every pack you open, whether it's a set booster, a draft booster, pre-release kit, whatever it is, your lands in those packs are going to be these style lands. These are my favorite lands they've ever printed. They are the immediate home. I've literally sold all. I'm selling in / trading in all of my other basics that are worth money, and I'm getting these. This is what I'm gonna play in every deck. So really, really cool. All right, we got Novice Occultist, 2 mana 1/2 human wizard. When it dies, you draw a card and lose a life. Pretty standard black thing. Good limited card. Blade Brand, 2 mana instant. Target creature gains Death Touch. So Death Touch means that any point of damage it deals to a creature, as long as it's not indestructible, will kill it. You get to draw a card. Nice little cantrip effect for limited. Nothing great. Another one of the tribes in this set. So we talked about tribes. I play zombies. Innistrad's great. Gothic horror set. I mean, they went a little Lovecraftian with it in the Shadows over Innistrad Eldritch Moon when we returned the last time. So Innistrad 2. But really big on, I mean, you have angels, demons, werewolves, vampires, as you see here, geists or spirits, zombies, and then, of course, all the humans on Innistrad are constantly combating those things. And, of course, some humans are good and some are not. And yeah, it's just a really, really cool plane. I think it's, especially with this set and having gotten to see a little bit of this set so far and play with it, Innistrad has fast become my favorite plane. It replaces Dragons of Tarkir or the Tarkir plane, which is the first plane I was introduced to with Magic. It is a super cool plane. And if you like Gothic Horror and you like this sort of stuff, this is the set to be in, the set to play. It's phenomenal. I'm excited that we're getting a second set on Innistrad. In November, we're going to get Crimson Vow, which is the Vampires theme set. MTG sales and trades. Welcome. Thanks for showing up. Cool little pack opening. We're just on pack 2, so we got with Voldaren Stinger, 1 mana, 1/1. Teferi, I'm not a big fan of Teferi. I think he's, of the 4 that we've had in Standard, so we go Teferi, Hero of Dominaria. I think that's still the best Teferi in terms of just playability. Teferi, Time Raveler, good card. The blue Teferi, the mono blue one from the core set a couple years ago, I do think this one's better than that, but compared to the first 2, this card is trash. Absolutely, I do agree with you there. Oddly enough, I think he sees more play in Commander than he does in Standard. The ability to +1 to tick up, and you get to untap or tap a creature, an artifact, and a land, and if they're, you basically get to untap yours and tap your opponent's, which is really cool. Basically could make him cost 1 mana, and that's the thing to see with this set. Right now, I don't know if he's good for Standard. He's not going to see, I don't think he sees play back into the other constructed formats, Historic, Pioneer, Modern. The other two Teferis that I mentioned are way better. But Commander he could, and in Standard, if there's enough ramp creatures or cheap ramp artifacts, I think that makes it playable. Yes, Time Raveler is the best. I have horrors of Hero of Dominaria, though. That was a bane for me. I really had to learn how to play against a pure control deck with that and really learn how to build for it. But Time Raveler is probably the worst version of Teferi. I mean, the way that they printed him and templated him, I think they did it wrong. I think he should have cost more mana. I think his +1 and his static should have been flipped, where you had to have been actively working to make your opponents not be able to cast spells at instant speed, and then you could just play at instant speed because of Teferi. The MTG Deckhouse, welcome. Thanks for coming in. We're going to keep ripping through this pack. We're going to pick up the pace a little bit. So we got Abandon the Post, 2-mana sorcery. Up to 2 target creatures can't block this turn. You get flashback. Very good card there for limited. Yes, exactly like Oko. Oh my gosh. 3-mana busted Planeswalkers. They've knocked some out of the park. They've missed on some. And Oko and Teferi, the 2018, 2019 Magic, even into 2020 up through Core Set 21, just a lot of busted brokenness. And it looks to me, since there was a couple, there was Omnath in Zendikar Rising. Since then, though, I don't really see an egregious card like that. I don't see a card that makes me sit there and go, oh, wow, this needs to be banned, 1, or 2, I can't stand playing against this. Obviously, there's certain colors and styles that I don't like to play against. That's just because of the type of player that I am in terms of I like to play creature decks, I like to play tribal decks, stuff like that. But, I mean, I think they've really balanced the power level back out, which is good. So we'll have Odric's Outrider, 4-mana, 2/4, Human Knight. When Odric's Outrider or another creature you control dies, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. So cool little effect for limited. All right, this is the Signpost spell for Orzhov, Rite of Oblivion, black and a white, sorcery. As an additional cost to cast a spell, so you sack a non-land permanent, you exile target non-land permanent, and flash it back for 4 mana. Again, I think this has something to do with the Decayed tokens if you're in Standard or Limited. Not as good as you go farther back in your, unless you have a deck that makes a lot of expendable cards or has a lot of recursion. But just a cool card, cool uncommon. All right, we have another one. This is the other style of the variant artwork. This is the for all the warlocks. So Sereth the Viper's Fang is a 4-mana legendary creature human warlock. She's a 3/4. Other tapped creatures you control have Death Touch, so creatures that you're attacking with are going to have Death Touch, and other untapped creatures you control have Hexproof. So you can sit back with this thing, attack with creatures, give them Death Touch, or untapped creatures are going to have Hexproof so they can't be targeted. I would say yes, Alrund's Epiphany is bad. I don't know if it needs to be banned yet because we're going into a Standard with only 5 sets. Let's see what happens when we expand that out a little bit. I agree in the sense of I don't like these free turn spells. I think they've printed way too many of them since Nexus of Fate. But yes, this is a very cool artwork. The snake wrapped around her is awesome. Her other ability is one, tap her, untap another target creature or land you control. But yeah, I think Alrins, I think the problem with Alrins, or the good news is it is expensive. You're talking 6 or 7 mana. You will get there in standard. You do have treasure, so there's ways to ramp to it. But I do think we have some openings to possibly get there. Ooh, we got another werewolf, Village Watch. 4 mana, 4/3 with haste, so can attack on inbound, has daybound, and then it has on the flip side Village Reavers. This artwork is sweet. I mean these moons, the flip it back and forth from daybound to nightbound is awesome. This is actually a really cool card. If I open enough werewolves, I'm building a werewolves commander deck. Mike, yes. So 2023, they announced it this year. We're going to have Universes Beyond, which is basically Magic has a bunch of IPs that they're partnering with, and they are going to get to basically go into a bunch of sets. So we've had Secret Lairs, which are small card drops of limited numbers. We've had them for The Walking Dead. We're going to have it for Fortnite. We're going to get some other things. They actually did a Dungeons and Dragons one. Great spooky vibes in this. Yes, turn 5 Goldspan, turn 6 Alrins wins. It is hard. We'll see. Again, I'm not sure it needs to be banned yet. I don't want to call for bannings when we're not even officially into the set being released. So till we actually, I mean, yes, we have it on Arena. Let's see what happens though. But yeah, so to get back to Mike's question with the, they have the D&D set that they just came out with, and that's easy for Wizards, of course. Overall, Wizards and D&D, they're under the same company. They are going to have that Lord of the Rings set, though, 2023. It is a full set, so it's going to have a full 300 cards. This is the big thing, though, is it is a straight-to-modern set. So it is only going to be legal in Modern and back, so Modern, Legacy, Vintage, and then Commander. So it will not be legal in Standard, Pioneer, Historic. I do think they are going to try to sneak some of those cards into Historic, they said, which is the digital client on Arena, the digital-only format on Arena. It's going to be awesome, though. I am so stoked to get Lord of the Rings. That is one that I was kind of looking at the next year. I'm probably going to be buying a lot of singles and not a lot of product after this set until that set comes out. Really with the intention of knowing that I love Lord of the Rings. I love the books. I love The Hobbit. I mean, all of it. The movies, the books. Sign me up. So, and if you get back into it, Mike, let me know. Brian over at the Bearded Nerd Media, again, keep me posted, dude. I'll help you complete that set. I have a bunch of cards sitting on the shelf that I want to talk to you about at some point, and we'll see about sending those down to you. So we're going to keep going here with these cards. All right, we got another flip card, another werewolf, Shady Traveler. Cool thing, werewolves got into black this set. They've typically been a Gruul or red-green basis. So this bad boy has menace. Creature can't be blocked except by 2 or more creatures. It's daybound, so when it enters, it becomes day if it wasn't already. It's a 2/3, and then it's going to flip into Stalking Predator. He's a 4 mana, 4/4, or excuse me, no mana cost, same as the previous side, but 4/4 menace with Nightbound. So another great werewolf. All right, we got another rare in this pack. So this is a multi-rare pack. We got Wake to Slaughter. This is a card I'm not sure how I feel about, but we're going to read this off. We got 3 black-red sorcery. Choose up to 2 target creature cards in your graveyard. An opponent chooses one of them. You return that card to your hand, and you return the other to the battlefield under your control. It gains haste, and then you exile at the beginning of your next end step. Flashback for 4 black-red. So flashback for 6 instead of paying the 5. Definitely a cool set. Definitely a cool card. Not sure if it's good enough. All right, and we actually have a foil version of that, one of the werewolves that we've seen, Harvesttide Infiltrator. Yeah, they are doing the Fortnite. The Fortnite's going to be a secret lair, so it's not going to be a full set from what I've seen. That's going to just be a secret lair only. I think they're also doing Street Fighter as a secret lair. So those are going to be side cards. We'll see if they do them where they did kind of like the Godzilla theme, where they had, with Ikoria, where they had Godzilla characters' names that were built onto existing Magic cards. Or you're going to do more like the Walking Dead one, which is where we just saw straight up, you have Rick, and Rick is a Magic card that you can now play. So, yeah. So, But we got the shiny boy. We got the shiny werewolf. Really cool. And we got a clue token. These clue tokens are awesome. This also is one that immediately is jumping into my new versions of clues for anything that I need clues for. That is, I love the Gothic horror. You keep signing me up for this stuff. Keep giving it to me. We're going to keep rocking it. All right. Art card. We have Sunrise Cavalier. We got a foil mountain in our land pack. Look at the foiling on this. These cards also, we were talking about this the other night. The card stock is thicker. It is better. It feels nicer. They feel more like playing cards. I think they're starting to fix their card stock issues. But again, another one of these gorgeous lands. All right, we're going to rip through some of these until we see something good. So we got Falcon Wrath Perforator. He's a Vampire 2/1. Oh man, if they do Rick and Morty, I think that one's gonna sell like hotcakes too. They keep bringing out these IPs, man. They're gonna keep selling stuff, and that's all it is. They make Hasbro money, keep giving us good Magic cards. Don't print anything too disgustingly busted. Another Vampire, we got Famished Foragers. This one's actually pretty solid for limited. Stolen Virality. 1 in a red instant, good combat trick. Target creature gets +3/+1 until end of turn. If it's your turn, it also gains trample. Otherwise, it gains first strike. Silver Bolt. This is a limited all-star. 1 mana artifact. Pay 3, tap it, sacrifice it, deals 3 damage to a creature. If it was a werewolf, you destroy it. Really good card in limited. All right, we got our first, another zombie. We got Grizzly Ghoul. This guy's a Gruul or a Golgari zombie, so green-black. So 2 green-black for 4/3 with trample. When it enters the battlefield with a +1, or it enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it for each creature that died this turn. This card is really good with those Decayed tokens again. If you attack with 3 of them, they sack and die. Okay, this bad boy comes in with, +3/+3. So all of a sudden he's now a 7/6. We got another Golgari. So that was the Golgari Signpost creature. This is the Golgari Signpost spell for the limited and drafting purposes. 5 mana, 3 green-black sorcery. It costs 1 less to cast for each creature that died this turn. You return target creature from the graveyard to the battlefield, and it's flashback for 7. So really cool as well. There you go. That makes me think we're gonna see Rick and Morty down the road. Yes, they are doing Warhammer 40K. That is the other what do you call it? Secret layer that they're dropping next year. So I know we're getting Fortnite, Street Fighter, Warhammer 40K are all coming. We've got another werewolf, Fangblade Brigand, 4 mana, 3/4. You can pay mana, so 1 in a red, gets +1/+0 and gains first strike until end of turn. If it flips to the other side, it becomes Fangblade Eviscerator. Still has the same ability. Pay 1 in a red, gets +1/+0 and gains first strike. It's a 4/5. The other cool part, especially for limited, this one made a couple games last night. Pay 4 in a red. Creatures you can control get +2/+0 until end of turn. So it makes everything, it's a pumping effect, really cool. We have another promo art card. We have Dawnhaunt Mentor. So this is another one of the Warlock ones. 2 and a green for an 0/4. When it enters, you create a 1/1 white human. So you're already 2/3 of the way towards this new Coven ability. So Coven, the big thing, activate. Coven abilities trigger or activate only if you control creatures, 3 or more creatures with different powers. This one is a activated ability, so you got to pay 5 and a green. Target creature controls gets +3/+3 and gains trample. We're gonna have another werewolf. We got Bearded Mire. 3 mana, 1/4 with reach. So this is basically the creatures that sit on the ground and they can block flyers. You flip it over, you get Wing Shredder. Same thing, just gets bigger. Reach, 3/5. Curse of Silences are rare. Curses are a big thing. They were big in the original Innistrad. They brought them back. There is a curse commander that they released with this product as well. So this one is a white curse for 1 mana. You enchant a player. As Curse of Silence enters the battlefield, you choose a card name. Spells with a chosen name enchanted player casts cost 2 more to cast. Whenever an enchanted player casts a spell with a chosen name, you may sacrifice this. If you do, draw a card. Solid little curse. We got a foil Evolving Wilds. And again, beautiful, beautiful Innistrad artwork. Just great. This is a great standard. This should be in every standard set. Like, not every standard set, but every standard you go into, this is a staple card that should be legal every time standard rotates. We should never not having an Evolving Wilds like effect. Oops, sorry for shaking the camera there. So really easy. Play it as a land. You tap it, sacrifice it, you go get a basic, put it on the battlefield, tap, then shuffle. Really good for limited and sealed. Again, the artwork is gorgeous. Ooh, we got a card from the list. We got the Spellbook, which is 0 mana for an artifact. You have no maximum hand size. Yeah, we're going to have to look up that later to see what the price tag on that bad boy is, because that's always cool. Yeah, I think I'm going to do a Gruul Werewolves deck for Commander. Something I've been looking at. I have a lot of the pieces from Shadows over Innistrad block. I just really will need to pick up the pieces from original Innistrad, and then however many I get in this. I did pull a really, really good piece for that deck last night. I pulled Tovolar's Huntmaster. It is the new Green Grave Titan, basically. It's 4 green for a 6/6 Daybound human werewolf. When it enters the battlefield, you create 2/2 wolf tokens. When it flips to night, he becomes a 7/7. That every time you either enter on night and you play that side, or you attack with him, you make 2 more wolves. And it also has a mana sink of 2 green. Target wolf or werewolf fights target creature you don't control, which is really good. So yeah. So next pack we've got. This is actually the promo art for Arlen. So this is Arlen the Pack's Hope. If we pull the actual card, we'll go bananas, because that card is great. All right. Continuing to build up, we got the Forest in this Eternal Night style. And again, just beautiful, beautiful card work. And of course, there's a series of these that has a little dude, a little traveler, traveling through all of Innistrad. All right, we'll have Neonate's Rush, instant speed. If you control a vampire, costs 1 less. Vampire, 3 mana, 3/2, Vampire Noble. When it enters the battlefield, if an opponent lost life, that is kind of the theme of vampires from this set at least. If it's the Bloodthirst theme or mechanic kind of style. So if your opponent lost life and then you play this card, or if it's on the battlefield, it's going to trigger. This is as it enters. So really cool. Just a base limited filler removal spell, Sungold Barrage, 3 mana, destroy target creature with power 4 or greater. We got the Dreadhound. This is a uncommon 6 mana, 6/6. When it enters, you mill 3 cards. Whenever a creature dies or a creature card is put into a graveyard from a library, each opponent loses a life. Limited card. All right. MTG Auctions, how's it going? Thank you for joining. We're ripping through some Innistrad Midnight Hunt set boosters. We got Infernal Grasp. This is the premier 2 mana removal spell in black for this standard. And it's probably going to be a premier removal spell in standard the entire time it's legal, and I think it's good enough for other formats. It's the best Doomblade variant we've seen. It is straight up 1 in a black, instant, destroy target creature. And yeah, you lose 2 life. So really, really cool. So fun stuff. That is a good card. I'm excited for that. All right, we got another Harvesttide Infiltrator, 3 mana, 3/2 with Trample. Flip it over, becomes a 4/4 with Trample. Again, this artwork is just awesome. We got the Hound Tamer. We got another werewolf in the promo artwork. 3 mana, 3/3 Trample. You can pump it, or pay mana. So great mana sink, 3 and a green. Put a 1/1 counter on target creature, so you can build itself up or another creature. And flips over to Untamed Pup. It's a trample. It gives all your other wolves and werewolves you control trample, and you still have that mana sink on there as well. We got a third straight Shady Traveler. This is the black werewolf that we just saw. This artwork again, though, just gorgeous. Very, very, very awesome and beautiful artwork on the back. Yes, there's definitely a werewolves deck. The sad part for me is there's not a Jund commander for werewolves, so if you build a werewolves deck for commander, you're going to be stuck running the just running green-red, which I'm cool with, but still not as cool. Another werewolf, Burly Breaker, 5 mana, 6/5 with Ward. So Ward is a new ability. I think it's great. And yeah, you're going to have to call Sam and Dean Supernatural, get them to take care of that stuff, man, because it's crazy. So Ward, new ability, though. Ward in certain colors is going to have a mana cost, so your opponent will have to pay mana if they want to target it. And I believe that's in green, white, and blue. And then in red and black, the Ward abilities are going to be painful for the opponent. They're either going to lose life or have to discard a card or something like that. So this one has Ward 6/5, 5 mana, 6/5 with Ward 1, and it flips over and it becomes a 8/7 with Ward 3. So it gets bigger and harder to kill. Really, really cool. All right, we got a Bomb Rare. Another zombie-themed one. This, of course, unfortunately, is a human wizard. It's Jadar, Ghoulcaller of Nephalia. He's 1 in a black for a 1/1. At the beginning of your end step, if you control no creatures with Decayed, you create a 2/2 black zombie creature with Decayed. So every turn, this can just keep popping out the 1/1 zombies, or the 2/2 zombie Decayed tokens, which is awesome. So a really cool card, though. Excited for it. Gotta love seeing it. I think that's good in standard. Not as sold on it in other formats, but it's definitely a card to help the zombies deck out. They gave us the Jack-O-Lantern. So we're going to have, and this is a foil, so a big pumpkin head, one mana, artifact. You pay 1, tap it, sack it. You exile up to 1 target card from a graveyard, and then you draw a card, so cantrips. You can also pay 1, exile it from your graveyard to add a mana of any color. Pretty cool little card. Not sure where it sees play, but it's cool. And then we got a 1 mana 1/1 spirit for our token. All right. We're going to keep ripping through these. Art card. We got the back half of Delver of Secrets. We got a Plains. Again, there's that little traveler walking through Innistrad. We got the Bat Whisperer, 4 mana 4/2 vampire. Vampire Interloper, 2 mana 2/1, flying, can't block. Cathar Commando, 2 mana 3/1, flash, pay 1, sack it, you destroy target artifact or enchantment. Gavany Silversmith, 3 mana 2/3 human soldier. When it enters, you put a +1/+1 counter on each of 2 creatures. Good limited card. Foul Play, this is the new uncommon 2 mana removal. Being sorcery speed kills this card. Also, the fact that it can only target creatures with power 2 or less, not as good, but could see some standard sideboard play. We'll see whether format shakes down. I think right now, with there being so many big dragons and things like that, just not worth it. The investigatability is cool, though. You get to create a clue token. Could see some play, not sold. We got Voldaren Ambusher. It's a 3 mana 2/2. When it enters the battlefield, if an opponent lost life, you deal X damage to up to 1 target creature or planeswalker, whereas X is the number of vampires you control. All right, we got another werewolf. This is a rare, the Reckless Stormseeker. 3 mana 2/3. At the beginning of combat on your turn, target creature you control gets +1/+1, gains haste until your end of turn. So can give itself haste, become a 3/3 attacker. You flip side it, it's a 3/4, and same ability, but it gains +2/+0 instead of +1/+0, and it also gains trample to go along with the haste. Really cool card. We got another promo art. We got the Candlegrove Witch, 2 mana 2/2 with Coven. So this ability, this one is a triggered ability. It says at the beginning of combat on your turn, if you control 3 or more creatures with different powers, it gains flying until end of turn. All right, another werewolf. We are definitely looking at building werewolves. This is the Village Watch in the basic 5 mana 4/3 haste, and it flips over and it gives all your wolves. We saw the promo art of this, so pretty cool to get both versions. We got another rare in this pack. We got Can't Stay Away, Orzhov Colors, black and a white for a sorcery. Return target creature card with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. It gains if this creature would die, exile it instead. It has flashback for 5. Solid card. I don't think it sees play outside of standard and maybe commander. And our foil is Seize the Storm. 4 mana sorcery. You create a red elemental creature token with trample, and this creature's power and toughness are each equal to the number of instants and sorcery cards in your graveyard, plus the number of cards with flashback you own in exile. You flash it back for 7. I don't know if this will see play anywhere but limited, but that's a limited bomb. And one cool thing just to show off, one of these tokens here, this is the dual face token. So any double face card you have, you can write what's on the front side and the back side here. You can actually, it has an MTG proper Magic the Gathering card back. So this can go in your deck to replace all of these double face werewolves. You keep those cards out in a sleeve, like in a clear perfect fit sleeve to then put on top of it if you want to. But this will just make it easier for not having to worry about opaque sleeves, stuff like that. All right, let's see what we got going into another pack. Bring me more zombies. We've seen a ton of werewolves. We're going to have another Arlen, the Moon's Fury. This is the artwork for the other half of Arlen. So if we get the Arlen Planeswalker, we'll see both halves. She is a dual-face Planeswalker. Human on one side, werewolf on the other. We got another mountain. Really, really awesome. We got Mounted Dreadnought, 5 mana 4/5, or excuse me, 5/4 trample. When it enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it if an opponent lost life. So again, you can see how those werewolves do that. This is a sweet little common removal spell. Not as good in Pauper, which is as a common, just because it's going to be harder to trigger Knight in that format, but 2 mana instant. Target creature gets -2/-2 until end of turn, so it can help kill indestructible creatures. If it's Knight, that creature gets -13 instead. This is also a theme on Innistrad, is the -13. Solid little removal spell. The new artwork of Duress. This is a reprint. It's a common. It's in, again, this is a card that needs to be evergreen in standard. They've been doing that for the last couple of years. It's 1 black mana for a sorcery. Your opponent reveals their hand. You choose a non-creature, non-land card from it. That player discards it. Great card, great reprint, good to see it in standard. We got Search Party Captain, 4 mana 2/2. It costs 1 less for each creature that you attack with this turn, so you can get it down all the way to 1 mana if possible. And when it enters the battlefield, draw a card. So a white card draw, we'll take it. We got an uncommon vampire, the Stromkirk Blood Thief, 3 mana 2/2. At the beginning of your end step, if an opponent lost life this turn, put a +1/+1 counter on target vampire you control. Cool little card. Got another vampire. 5 mana, 3/4 flyer. When it enters the battlefield, if an opponent lost life this turn, each opponent discards a card for the Blood Tithe Collector. All right, we got another one of these beautiful Warlock artworks for the Harvest Tide variant. We got Darnheart Wardens. This is the signpost creature for the Selesnya green-white coloring. It's a 3 mana 3/3 with Vigilance. At the beginning of combat on your turn, if you control 3 or more creatures with different powers, creatures you control get +1/+0. So it's a little bit of a board booster for you there, which is great. A Static Awakener. This is the other type of transform card. So Innisrod's always had the flip cards with werewolves, but you also have transform cards, cards that will flip from one thing to another. We've had lands flip into creatures. We've had artifacts flip into creatures. This one, Static Awakener, he's a 1 mana 1/1. You can pay 2 and a black, sack another creature, draw a card, then you transform him, and you can only activate it once a turn, and it will transform into the Awoken Demon, which is a 4/4. So, cool little common. That helped me win some games last night. I played that in my deck. All right, we'll have a promo art version of the Bird Admirer. So that's the werewolf we saw earlier. And again, this spooky, beautiful artwork is just awesome. All right, we got our rare for this pack. This is another werewolf. This is crazy, though. Blue werewolf that flips to a green werewolf. Suspicious Stowaway. Kind of like calls back to Looter Il-Kor, which is a 2 mana creature for 1/1. Can't be blocked. And when it deals combat damage, you draw a card, then discard a card, which is looting. It's daybound. You flip it over. You get Seafaring Werewolf. Can't be blocked as a 2/1, so it gets a little bit of a power boost. And you just draw cards when you deal combat damage. So really cool. Good card. Our foil was a Homestead Courage, 1 mana, sorcery, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control, gains Vigilance. Flashback. Limited fodder. And our token, the Zombie Decayed token. So really cool, you can see this zombie is falling apart a lot more. This is why the Decayed feature comes in. Can't block. After it attacks, you sacrifice it. But great token to have. We're going to need those when we build Wilhelt, the Rot Cleaver, which is the new Dimir Commander that they just released. That is the most excited I have been for a Commander standalone pre-con deck ever. He is, I think, the best zombie commander that's actually a zombie. So it's a commander that cares about zombies as a zombie. This is going to be the art card for Ludwig Necrogenius. Really, really cool. Also, really cool feature. Forgot to point it out on here. So this Arlen is actually the gold sealed with the signature. Really cool. Collector's item. Not sure it matters, but it's cool. We've got the other version of the plains. So just a very frostbitten gray, black, and white plains. You can see all the pumpkins in the field. Really, really cool. We've got Locked in the Cemetery, 2 mana enchantment. Aura, enchant a creature. When it enters the battlefield, if there are 5 or more cards in your graveyard, you tap it and it doesn't untap. Limited card, pretty good. Thraben Exorcism. 2 mana, instant. You exile a target spirit, creature with Disturb, or enchantment. If Disturb's a big thing throughout the set, this will matter. Soulgride Gift, 4 mana, 3/4 flyer. When it enters, you exile up to 1 target card from a graveyard. Another Clarion Cathars. You create a human when it comes in. All right, we got these Signpost. Actually, we're going to go back to back. We got Signpost Rakdos, so red-black cards for the uncommon feature. The spell is Hungry for More. You create a 3/1 black and red vampire creature token with trample, lifelink, and haste, and then it sacks at the next end step. And you have flashback for 1 red, black. The creature is the Vampire Socialite. 2 mana, so black and a red for a 2/2 with menace. So again, can't be blocked unless by 2 or more creatures. When it enters the battlefield and if opponent lost life this turn, put a +1/+1 counter on each other vampire you control. And as long as an opponent lost life this turn, each other vampire you control enters with an additional +1/+1 counter. So a cool little kind of mini lord, which is really cool. We got another Village Watch of the promo art vampire. Cracking those left and right. We got another Disturbed card, Lunarch Veteran, 1 mana human cleric for 1/1. When it enters the battlefield, whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, you gain a life. So these Soul Ward in effect, but just for your creatures, and you can disturb it. So if it died, you can bring it back. You get a flying 1/1 Spirit Cleric that does the same thing. Covetous Castaway, another human that would disturb, 2 mana, 1/3. When it dies, you mill 3 cards, and you can disturb it for 5. And you get flying 3/4. When it enters, you shuffle up to 3 target cards from your graveyard into your library. But I will be right back, guys. One of my kiddos is crying. I'll be back in a little bit.